if you are moving to the DFW area, one of the things you're probably looking at is, hey, where is the best place for me and my family to live? Or if you're here in DFW, maybe exploring new options. I want to give you some options today. We're talking about probably one of my favorite and Jared's favorite areas. And if I haven't introduced you to Jared, Jared is one of my favorite lenders, does a lot of builder business. So I'm here to talk area. He's here to talk numbers, and we're going to talk specifically Rockwall. So Jared, I don't know about you, but I love the Rockwall area.
Yeah.
It's a win in a lot of ways for me.
You know, it's a really tight-knit community.
Yeah.
That a lot of people want to be a part of and belong to. And once you're in, you're in. You are definitely a Rockwall person. Oh, you've got the address, zip code.
Once you cross the lake and you get across the traffic situation, which is, I mean, let's be honest, the traffic everywhere in DFW is probably not ideal, but this right now is a, can we call it, what do we call that?
It's a pain in the butt.
It's a pain in the butt. Yeah, it's going to be good one day, but once you get across the lake, living in the Rockwall area, definitely not going to be, we're not talking like $300,000 homes in Rockwall, especially if we're talking new construction. We're definitely not talking 300,000. Median home price, you want to guess what it is on the new construction side? I'm going to pull it up, but give me
I'm going to say it's high fives, 5.8.
You're going to say about
probably closer to 6.
Let's look at the city of Rockwall, and then we'll look at Rockwall County average new construction home price. So median price, $633.
Okay.
So not bad.
Yeah.
And then Rockwall County, so that adds in like McClendon Chisholm and Heath, which, and a little bit of Fate. Median home price, $518. So, I mean, you're definitely not getting in there at a super low price. But what I do like, one of the things that I always talk to people about when it comes to Rockwall is the tax rates.
Yeah.
So many of those neighborhoods don't add in additional muds and pits.
Correct.
So how does that, so like from a mortgage perspective, right? Because we talk about this a lot in terms of how we allocate our funds monthly. What do you feel like? So like a lower tax rate, higher purchase price, lower purchase price, higher tax rate. How does that play out in that conversation?
So it's relative. The lowest tax rates in all of Dallas are in Highland Park, Union Park, Rockwall, because the home values are so high that 1% on a $5 million home still is a tremendous amount of money for the jurisdictions,
right?
For the municipalities to manage. So when you look at Rockwall, smallest county in Texas,
but one of the wealthiest counties in Texas.
It is. So you've got these home prices that are higher, even though the tax rate is lower and more affordable. The overall money that comes into those municipalities and jurisdictions is adequate to support all the infrastructure, everything they need for fire, for police. So because it's small, they can't afford to have such lower tax rates. So I don't think there's a benefit or a negative to either. I understand why.
Yeah.
But it is a great place to live based on the tax rate.
And the thing that I found is like in looking at it, so Rockwall's base tax level. So like when you count for the school district, the hospital, the county, is like 1.5 on the base, and most of their neighborhoods don't add anything on top of that. So you end up at like a 1.53 or like a 1.56. They add a little bit, and so they can do that. So that to me is always an interesting conversation when because I feel like we don't buy homes based on the big number. We buy homes based on the monthly budget number, right? And so like that to me, I think is important when you're talking about, hey, my monthly budget is, X dollars. What would I rather have? Would I rather have the more expensive home with the lower tax rate, or would I rather have what looks like the cheaper home but have the higher tax rate that basically makes a wash payment-wise?
Yeah. And it's funny you bring that up, because there are areas that we'll talk about in later sit-downs, but yeah, where the monthly payment, $4,500 is a $600,000 home in Rockwall, but it's a $500,000 home in Prosper,
right?
Or something like that. So I think it's more of the geographic location. Where do you want to be?
Yeah,
there is a compromise. You mentioned traffic, and I'll talk a little bit more about
that. But so like that, right? So I mean, everybody especially coming to Dallas, I don't think you realize how big the DFW Metroplex is, right? First of all, Dallas is not Fort Worth, and Fort Worth is not Dallas. And then people, I've had conversations where they're like, "Hey, I'm getting a job in Plano, and I really think we want to live all the way down in Mansfield." And I'm like, "No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't realize how, like, I think it's ingrained in, and you've been here, your family moved here from out of state, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of ingrained in us. Like, we just, like, driving is a normal thing, right? Like, going 30 minutes to dinner, I feel like is normal. And I have other people who are like, I would never want to even consider doing that, right?
No. And that's just it. When you come from somewhere else, your world is 15 minutes. You're from where you live, school, job. But like you said, the DFW and the greater Metroplex, it's hours.
Yeah.
To drive from one side to the other. Not minutes.
100%. So while we're talking about the Rockwall area, I hang out in that area a lot. I know you and your family probably spend some time out there because y'all live similar in that area. Tell me, I'm curious, where do you like to eat? Like, because we've eaten at a couple places. I've got a couple favorite places. What are you guys' favorite places? If y'all are going into Rockwall, where are you going?
I think that the Rockwall Town Square has a lot to choose from. A local favorite, Zanata's, Fire and Fable is a good one. Same thing right there.
Fire and Fable is that one we did that. Yeah. And Zanata, people love their. I like their pizza, but the crab dip, if you like seafood, I hear I'm not a seafood person.
It's awesome. They've got mussels, but it's everything on the square is good. Comfort food, you've got Ramen Head and some Chinese food restaurants. We don't venture much from the town center, but you've also got the harbor. So the harbor is just another place.
I love going up. Our favorite burger place is up Harbor.
Yeah.
So there's I'm gonna go scroll down.
Is that Rodeo Goat?
Rodeo Goat, and like sit out on their patio right down here on the harbor area. They've got some of the most unique. They're a chain here in DFW. They've got some unique burger combinations, but that's probably one of our favorite places to go if we're gonna go down and kind of sit out on the lake. Obviously when it's not 1,000,000 degrees here, right?
Even when it is, the lake's the best place to be. Just catch us a little.
Listen, I hear rumors that there are gators that live in the lake.
I've never seen one.
I haven't ever seen one, but they tell the stories of gators, because that lake is a man-made lake, right?
Oh yeah.
And so like if you drive across it, especially if you're coming across it on like 66, if 30's backed up, you'll see all of the like tree branches that stick out, and people are like, what is that? It's like, well, they used to be like an orchard. Like it was like, it was a peach orchard or an apple orchard or something.
That's way before my time.
Yep. I wasn't born. I grew up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was all of Lake Ray Hubbard was, it was like an orchard area, and then they made the lake. So when you see the trees sticking out of it, that's what it was. Shop. I was kind of trying to tell people, like, to me, Rockwall has everything that you could want in terms of restaurants, shopping, Target, Costco, Walmart. H-E-B is opening right here on the south side of 30, I think in like a month of recording this, so maybe October.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal. But to me, the feeling in Rockwall is kind of that, like, it's still that small town feel, but it has everything that you could want. Like, you don't need to go into, it's an easy drive. What is it to Frisco? An hour, right? Max. Yeah. It's an easy drive up there if you're trying to get up to the Frisco area, but you don't have to be up that way, right? And you don't have to pay the prices of being up there, right? You could stay in Rockwall and be fine.
Yes.
Right. Especially with it's one of the better rated school districts too.
Yes.
I'm curious, what is it? They just got their new ratings. I'm curious what their new rating came out at. So
you got the Rockwall schools, and you've got Heath, which still Rockwall school district.
It rated that as an egg, which is not surprising, right? With some of the things that they're doing, the cool thing about, I'll open the map back up. So if you're looking at Rockwall, and as you talk to people who live in that area, the highway is the dividing line. So all of north side goes to Rockwall, all of the south side goes to Rockwall Heath. On both sides, it's really cool. And they just opened a freshman campus for both the north and the south side. which will eventually become high schools 3 and high schools 4. But if you have kids that are, about to enter high school, you've got a freshman center, so that they're not at a 3 or 4,000. It's probably, I bet it's 3,000 kids on those campuses, which, I mean, I don't know how big the high school was that you went to, but it was overwhelming being in that big of a high school.
Yeah.
Like, so having a space, where, kids can go first to acclimate, I think is a huge deal.
I'll tell you what's cool, and since you got the map up here, is that as populous as Rockwall is, there's still so many open spots.
Oh, yeah.
When you venture just a little bit east of John King, you're out.
All of this area right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's acreage, horse acreage. There's
Well, there's
wide open land.
There's a lot of, like, what would we call it? Like secret money, like old, I don't want to call it old money, but like just, yeah, those horse acreage, the big
Oh yeah.
properties, like you think, oh, it's in like Dallas properties. Like, no, it's in Rockwall. And then you drive like on the south side, like in Heath, and drive through some of those neighborhoods. There's some serious money out there.
And you mentioned McClendon Chisholm.
Yep.
If you go down, there's so many neighborhoods out there are acre lots, wide open. Yeah.
And there's so many new ones that are coming in. So and we'll get into some housing stuff. One of my actual favorite neighborhoods is, so side note, Smoke Monkey Barbecue, if you haven't been down there, it's a good place to go sit and hang out.
Oh yeah.
But one of my favorite neighborhoods is actually Sonoma Verde. So this neighborhood to me, because you've got some really, really great builders in there, Highlands in there, Bloomfield is in there, Perry is going back in there. So Castle Rock had, so over here on this section, kind of updated on the map, this is their 70-foot section. So these lots are all 70-foot wide. Castle Rock is actually leaving this area, and Perry bought lots back in here. So this section is held by Highland and Perry. So 70-foot lots with 2 great builders. Kind of up on this side is the new 60-foot section. That is Highland and Bloomfield. So some really wide, because I think a lot of people, so many of these builders have gotten into this, hey, we're going to do 40-foot lots, right? We're going to do 50-foot. I'm like, I don't like them personally. Like, I understand why they do the 40-foot lots, but I wish we didn't have to do that.
Like, getting out just a little bit of space. But
yeah. And part of the reason why they do that, and you and I, and the cool thing about sitting here talking to Jared is Jared is not only is he a lender, but he is a VP for a large builder division. So you handle a lot of different builders, and you get to have those you're in those rooms and having those conversations with builders and those developers. And it's like, give me a little bit about that. Like, not just in Rockwall in general, but like, what are these builders up against that, like, we're seeing them have to do these 40 and 45-foot lots. They're getting squeezed by developers, right?
They are, but at the same time, if you look at the number of people who live here and who are moving here,
1,000 people a day.
The draw, if every lot was a 70-foot lot, Frisco would be Oklahoma. Yeah, just because the footage and acreage would push it that way. Because nobody wants, I shouldn't say nobody, but the dense population for apartments, there's a place for those for sure. But when you're talking single family and you start to put everything on 60, 70-foot lots or acre lots or 2-acre lots, the same number of homes that you could put in to 40-foot lot communities pushes you out. And if you did that going from DFW out, Frisco would be in Oklahoma.
So it's going to be like,
it is.
I get, people are always, every time I go up north and I'm like, yeah, this is part of DFW, somebody inevitably will say something like, that's not part of DFW. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, it is expanded so much. And that's why, like, if you can find these pocket areas, like, the Rockwalls, we're going to do one of these on Salina, we're going to go south, like finding these pockets where we're seeing some really unique opportunities, I think makes for a huge win in my book. So yeah, we got a favorite neighborhood down here. Let's go back up north. So Harry Myers Park is one of those places, like if you're a local, you kind of know about that. Are you a disc golf guy?
No.
Me neither. I tried once. I tried in college, and I lost 3 discs in a 9-hole thing. And I was like,
I don't have the coordination or patience for it,
but anyway, I have friends that say that this has one of the best disc golf courses around.
And walk around there, not playing disc golf, and you can see it's a big draw.
Yeah. So people will also often ask that, oh, there's an airport there. And it's like, this is not this is not like catch a flight to Nashville. This is like the guys that have the little bitty regional Cessnas, the baby planes that. So if you're into that, like this is a cool place to be. But also, there's a new neighborhood, and I don't even know if it shows up yet on the map. That one of our favorite builders does right over here. Do you know which one it is?
You talking about Park Hills?
I am.
Yeah.
So Park Hills is we'll call it, it's basically right. I mean, it kind of backs up into this area. So it's all kind of right there. The map's not updated yet. But some of those houses, so Pacesetter's got some of those down there. There's a new builder in there.
Shane.
You know anything about them?
I don't. I know that they're new to the area.
Yeah.
I know that they're rapid acquisition for land.
They're from Canada.
Yeah. So they're
Calgary.
Yep. They're going to continue to expand as they go. But yeah, Pacesetter is in there. They're also a Canadian company.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't yet, like I walk that Shane model, it's actually really, really pretty. So I think they will do really, really well in the Texas market. So Park Hills, let's take a look at. I'm going to put you on the spot. Let's do some payment map, right? Just some rough, and obviously estimates, no absolutes. We got to figure everything out in the middle. But like something like this, right? So before we get to the payments, you see these kind of things pop up. When I see these advertisements happen all the time. So it's like an interest rate as low as 4.99 it up to $100,000. This doesn't mean I'm walking in and asking them for $100,000 off this price, right? This means in some neighborhoods they have already reduced their prices, correct?
Yes.
And this is not just that, like every builder is, at the end of the day, we have to remember the builder's job is to sell you a home, and they are in a marketing business, right? So they're going to do whatever they can to make that work. But you specifically are the preferred lender with Pacesetter, right? And so you can talk to me in detail about when I see that pop up. What does that mean?
So they've had a lot of price reductions.
Yep.
And it's kind of a combination for combating affordability.
Yes.
We've been in an inflated market for quite a while.
Yeah.
And as more people sit on the sidelines, people still need homes. They still need it to be affordable. Builders are looking for every opportunity they can to make homes affordable, to let them stand out. So, a lower interest rate, that's probably the number one target for affordability. A $10,000 price reduction might save somebody $50 a month, but $10,000 towards interest rate might be $100. It might be $100 So builders are very strategic in trying to have a combination of both, because they've got to maintain the values in homes.
Yes.
For people that have purchased years past who might be under construction but close in a few months, and then all of the homes they're trying to sell quickly. So there is a very strategic approach to how much do they reduce sales prices without impacting current homeowners, future homeowners, but also how do they make it affordable? So a lot of builders are pre-purchasing interest rates. This isn't an interest rate that you can go and get on your own.
No.
The builder has taken dollars and purchased that interest rate from their lenders in order to offer it to the buyers.
And I think when we see builders do that, like what I think consumers don't realize is this is to the tune of tens of millions of dollars spent, right? Like they're coming to your company, they're coming to Benchmark and saying, hey, we've got, $10 million. What can we do to make rates where we need them to be to sell houses, correct?
Yes.
And so I think that's always one of those things where it's like, everybody always feels like, hey, we want to go get a really good deal. I always try and tell people there are good deals to be found with all these different builders and all of these different communities, but you have to understand everything that went into making that deal happen. So it's not like we're going to go take another $70,000 off the price so for example, like let's just look at this house, right? So like on a $499,000 house. So what we saw advertised was a 4.99 rate, right?
Yep.
So we could ballpark that. What is that? What is the builder spending? Assuming, on a $499 purchase price, what's the builder spending to get that rate?
I'm gonna get in trouble if I say this, but yeah, really, give me a rate. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. If you're looking at probably $20,000 to buy the interest rate down before a consumer ever even comes into the picture, but before a homeowner.
And the hard part about that is with the builders, that money is already spent, right? And so because like for me, I have a lot of conversations here recently where people are like, hey, we want a quick move in inventory, but we want the builder to take a contingency when we have our house to sell. And I'm like, and then they get frustrated when the builder won't take that contingency. And I'm like, well, you have to understand that money is spent. So if the rate, because those rates expire, right? Let's just say that it's a 60-day thing or a 45-day thing or whatever it is. If they don't use it, it's gone, right?
Yes.
So that's where it gets really, so it gets hard when you're looking at those contingencies. But y'all have programs in place where you could potentially look at a buy before you sell?
We do.
Okay.
Yep. There's a lot of third-party companies out there. You know, a lot of iBuyers. There's companies out there that will help bridge that gap where you can purchase a new home, your existing home. If needed, they'll front equity from that home. If there's equity there, they'll put a guaranteed buyout to where your home can still be listed for sale with your realtor. And none of those debts will count towards your debts on the new purchase. So very complicated process. It is, but it helps people to where they're not moving 2 or 3 times. It helps them to get the money they need out of a property. It helps them to know there's peace of mind that if I can't sell this house for top dollar, I have a backup offer. And then there's companies that not only will buy that home out, they will list it. And if they make money on that home in excess of what they bought it out, they give you a guarantee that it's the upside guarantee of, hey, you didn't walk away from $10,000. It just took us longer to get it for you.
It's but there is a lot of risk. There's a lot of and it's like it's a very fluid conversation, right? So when looking, so this one is interesting to me because as we look at it, what I said, $499, and we saw, I'm like, numbers wise, I mean, we saw Rockwall County is already, so that's well under the average for a home in Rockwall County, especially on the north side of being in Rockwall County. So $499. $990. Talk me through it. So the builder is going to spend a large amount of money to get us to that 4.99 rate. Can we talk about some of those stipulations? Is that an FHA? Is that a conventional? Like it just depends, right?
The money's tied up in both. Yeah, they can buy those forward commitments in both FHA government, so FHA VA, or conventional financing, and that just allows people to take advantage of whatever.
Additionally, with them, they're offering a secondary choice of, hey, we'll either cover your closing costs or we would put more funds into the deal for a temporary buy now, right? So let's kind of just do some numbers. Let's do some curiosity. So $499 down payment wise, let's assume for the 5. Let's just assume you're doing a 5% down payment. You're going to get that 4.99. The builder's going to pay your realtor, which is awesome. We're not going to count a concession. Hazard insurance, it's gone up, right? It's nice.
So are you looking at it in terms of a percentage?
Yeah, well, I was looking at it, I just know, so we just
do dollar amount. I mean, you're looking at like $2,000, $2,200.
Let's call it 22, just on the safe side.
Yeah.
And then see, this is what we were talking about earlier that makes the biggest difference. So average, 1.6 in that neighborhood. Here's what we're looking at in terms of a payment. So you're still going to be in that $3,500, $3,600 a month range, right? And so we have to be, the days of getting that house for $2,000 is not going to happen. But even on that, we can go in and look at and say, hey, we want to do that buy down, right? And so when we talk about buy downs, I think a lot of people get confused on what that actually means. So I'm going to put the numbers in, and can you tell us?
Yeah, a temporary buy down is advertised as a lower rate or an interest rate reduction for the first year, 2 years, 3 years. In actuality, it's not a change in interest rate at all. It's a subsidy. So the builders will say, okay, if we're going to offer a 2-1 buy down, that's a 2% payment subsidy in the first year, 1% payment subsidy in the second year. They look at the principal and interest and say, okay, if it were 2% lower than whatever it is here, so 4.99, would become 2.99 in payment.
Yep.
They look at that delta. What's the difference? If it's $400, if it's $500, they multiply that by 12 and they set it aside in an escrow account. They do the same thing for the second year, a 1% subsidy or payment reduction.
Yep.
That 4.99, 3.99, what's the difference? They look at that. Maybe that's $250 or $300. They multiply that for a year, put it into an escrow account.
Well, and the cool thing about that is, and I think this is always important for people to see. So as we were talking about earlier, the builders already spent a significant money to get to the 4.99 just to start, right? And then so on here, we can calculate like, so they're spending an additional almost, I mean, it's an estimate, right? It's almost another 10 grand
Yes.
to do this buy down. So when you think about and this is the way I like to think about it, it's like, hey, what is the total cost of like, what are they giving you for the acquisition, right? So we're talking at this point, we're $30,000 to $40,000, right? And so then we get into that conversation where people are like, oh, well, houses are overpriced. Houses are overpriced. It's like, well, are they?
No.
Because when we're doing stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
And then you see it. So like, I think it's an important point that you made. It's basically putting it into a savings account, right? So year one, so at that 2.99 rate, that's the only thing that changed, right? So this was the number we started with, was the 3631 estimated. Year two or year one, you're saving $546 a month, right? So payments 1 to 12 are basically, they're pulling money from multiple places to put this together, right? And then year two, you're saving 281, and then at year three, you are locked back at that 4.99, which a lot of people I think get confused because they're like, oh, these are like the adjustable rates that got us in trouble 15 years ago, and it's like, this is nothing.
No.
Like that.
No. So it's literally the same payment, 3631 every year.
Yeah.
The subsidy is that for the first year, the builder's going to pay the first $546 of that 3631 payment, leaving you with the 3085 remaining.
And
So
usually the cool thing about that is if the market was to get better than that 4.99 before you got there, most of the time you can pull that money and put it toward the cost of refinance.
you can.
Which is awesome. So that's one of those things where it gets you into so back to this, like getting into a Rockwall at a 4, and I've walked this house. I think this is the one that backs up to, like, it's got green space behind it in Park Hills. So getting into Rockwall, Northside Rockwall, for a 4-bed, 3-bath, like, I don't know. I mean, I could go and look, right? If we looked at the list, so I've got it pulled up. So total active listings for builders on the market right now in Rockwall, McLean, Chisholm, and Heath is 208. Now that number is probably a little lower because not all builders get everything in MLS, which is what feeds Realtor, Zillow, all of those things. But if we go and look at it and we run it, the least expensive, like you've got one, what is it? Maybe 10, 12 that are under 500,000. And then everything else is above 500 of that 200. So finding one at 499 to get into Rockwall would be with a builder that we like and that we trust, right? Because I think that's a lot of the time is people feel like they get so hamstrung by, oh, I can only afford this less than ideal builder. And it's like, no, I want to show you that there's other opportunities with actually really, really good builders that build good quality homes, right?
Yes.
So yeah, finding something like that. Going I mean, we talked about, Pacesetter's got that neighborhood there. They're closing out in Gideon Grove, which, side note, if you ever want a really good deal, find a builder that's closing out some neighborhoods.
The last 5 homes in a neighborhood are phenomenally priced.
Phenomenally priced. So if we go to the opposite end of that spectrum, Highland's got some stuff in there that are a little bit more expensive. So I love. I'm going to show you this one particular neighborhood. We're talking about closeouts. If I can get it to load, Saddle Star is right up the rail on Google Maps. It's right. Where did it go? It's like right over in. There's Quell Run. It's like right over in here. Saddle Star. This neighborhood is another, probably what you would call like a smaller boutique style. So where Sonoma Verde is a couple thousand homes, this is like less than 300 homes. Closing out there. And some of these homes, this is one is fun for me. So I want to look at these because I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you it in Frisco and see if you can guess the price difference. Okay. All right. So all of these homes, so 3,700 square feet on one floor. This is a floor plan to me. Like, if I was in the market, I would be buying this house, and if I could afford 950, I would be buying this.
Yeah, they build a beautiful home.
Personal preference, would you rather have everything on one floor or you want to spread it on two?
As I get older,
Yeah.
I want everything on one floor. When at our age now with our kids,
Yeah.
it's nice to have their own space upstairs, quiet away, not visible. But if we get older and they start to move out, one space, one floor is
See, the very first house we bought was like a 3-story townhome thing.
yeah,
And so I was over the stairs in 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm like, never quitting that again. But something like this, where it's like 3,700 square feet, you've got 4 bedrooms with everybody having their own bathroom, powder bath, study, game room, and entertainment, and a 3rd-car garage. Again, if I was in the market and wanted to spend, obviously, but not a lot of people can spend that. Right? That's a very significant monthly payment.
yes,
But curiosity, so we've talked about it.
4.9 fixed rate on that house.
Look at that.
Yep.
Boom. 4.99 fixed. All of these builders are doing it, right? Let's say it's not just a one-off thing. We're seeing it happen continually,
Yeah.
right? But so here's my question to you, because I think everybody's, and I'm going to pull this up in Frisco while we're talking about this. Everybody keeps talking about, hey, rates are going to fall down, rates are going to fall down. And we've kind of seen them dip a little bit, right? So my theory, and I'm curious what you think as you spend time in this space, are builders going to continue to spend money? Like if rates fall, so like this morning it opened at a low 6, right? Are builders going to look at that and say, hey, you know what? That's really good. We're good on our money. Or do you think they're going to start doubling down and just keep going? Well, like what's the thought?
I think it's gonna have to be a unanimous decision.
Like everybody across the board is going to have to.
I knew, and it's funny you say that because the first thing that pops into my mind is a video on like TikTok or somewhere. There's an old guy selling eggs next to a young guy.
Oh, yeah.
Selling eggs. Exactly, and it's like, hey, these are $30, and then this one's like, well, I'm selling for $20, and people buy them, and then the old guy says, well, I'll sell mine for 10. Then what happens? The young guy buys all of this guy's for 10. Cools it with his, and now he sells them for 40 because there's no more competition.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see builders continue to go lower and lower, spending money as rates come down, let their rates come down until unanimously they say, hey, this is as low as we can go. Homes are now affordable. Now that they're selling so fast that we're running out of our inventory,
Yeah.
we have to still have homes to sell a month from now or a year from now. We've got to protect that in some capacity.
So in saying that, you think incentives will, because we've been in this like incentive market for, I mean, it's 18 months, right? A constant 4.99, 5.25, hey, 10,000, 20. Like it's been a continual something there. Where do you see, if rates fall, what do you like? Who makes the first decision on that? Like,
I think,
that's the interesting thing to me.
the inner world of builders is awesome, because while there's competition to sell homes to, from the private builders to the public builders to report back to their shareholders or their stockholders or whatever, they still communicate, and they do talk like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're seeing you're doing that. It is. I will tell you that I think the game is always just affordability.
Yeah.
When the market corrects itself to a point of affordability without the incentives or concessions from the builders, they'll slowly go away.
Yeah.
Because it's not about let's sell the most expensive home for the lowest monthly payment we can. Builders they're in business to make money, but they also have to make money so they can continue to acquire land, so they can continue to build homes for everybody coming next year and the year after. So there is a perpetuation of it. So they are going to watch the affordability piece. When that corrects itself, the incentives and the sales prices and the price reductions will correct themselves. So buyers right now in any area with any builder looking at incentives and values and prices, they are in probably the unicorn market, because we're no longer seeing everything go up or worsen. We're seeing everything improve, but it's to the point of improvement where nobody's flinched and started to rebound back the other way yet.
Yeah.
So it's hey, do we wait and realize, oh, it is already rebound and we missed it? Or do we take advantage and say, hey, I'm okay now, even if it gets Yes. Say payments go down another $50. I'm okay because I got the house I want.
And that's the interesting thing too is like, and I see it spending time in models of talking to sales reps and things like that. It's like builders are trying to pull the levers of like, hey, we can lower pricing, but we might cut features and so they're trying to figure out like and so it's like, hey, this person might have got a better paper deal, but their house is missing some of those features that you got standard, right? To me, it feels like the only analogy I have for it is like the feeling of, when you leave your house in the morning and you like, oh, I think I need gas, but I'm good. And you mentally, you see the gas stations with, it's $2.99 or it's two whatever. And I'm good. I drive the whole day and you come back home and it either went down. And if it went down, you're excited. But if it went the opposite, you're like, dang it, I should have got gas this morning. It's that feeling, right? So back to our Rockwall thing, but because it's interesting. So this is that house we were looking at in Rockwall at $950. And again, it's a closeout neighborhood. It's not going to be $950. This is the same house, different elevation. Look at the price difference just by moving from Rockwall to, was that Salina or to, Aubrey's similar, right? So 1.1, so 2 million versus 950. That's a significant jump. Right. And that's one of those things where it's like, I feel like as we talk about the Rockwall area, it's kind of a secret space where it's like you can find the $400,000 to $600,000 house if you want it, but you can also find the $600,000 to $800,000 to $900,000 and get the space and get the value of
and you've got builders that will build on your lot. Partners in Building, Jay Anthony, you've got some that
I forgot Partners in Building. Marcus was doing some Jerry about there.
Yeah, they're at the Heath Country Club.
Oh yeah, down here. Speaking of country club, you're a golf guy, right? You play any of these? You play Buffalo? You play
all the time?
Okay. So Buffalo is down here down south, right?
Yep.
Yep. Buffalo Creek. So how do you feel about it I don't play golf. I wish I did. I told you I need to learn. But we have guys to play. So thoughts on?
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yep. Anytime you can live close to a golf course and play, or have public access, I'm all for it.
Well, you've got a couple different options here. Like you've got Buffalo there. You've got Stone River out in Roy City. Is there one on the north side of Rockwall?
There is, but it's the Rockwall Athletic Club.
Oh, so you got to be a member to get into there. You got Waterview over here in Rowlett. That's a big one.
Then they've got Firewheel, which is just a little bit further out right here. Much all those little green spaces.
You could get like if you're moving to Dallas and you've got big bucks, you could join Royal Oaks or those up there country clubs. But I think that's important, right? Like if you're into the golf thing, we talked about schools, talked about golf, pros and cons, traffic wise. Airport,
they're working on it. I will be honest. We all complain about the traffic going over the bridge.
Yep.
But they are actively expanding that.
Here's what I tell. I would much rather be stuck in traffic on 30 than I would be on 80.
Yes.
So like when we talk, because there's going to come a point where we're going to talk about Forney, because there's a lot of growth and affordability down in Forney. The challenge right now in Forney is 80 is 2 lanes both directions. At least on 30, it's 4.
It's 3 to 4.
It's 3 to 4.
They're putting the side act, which is another 2 or 3.
Yeah, I would much rather be stuck here than be stuck on 80. The other thing to note too, if you're new to DFW, is we have a ton of toll roads. I don't know about you, but my toll bill is $100 a month in some months or more.
Yeah,
more or less.
Yeah. For me,
yeah,
I avoid them.
Do you really?
I do. I'll go 10 minutes out of the way, just not pay a 50-cent toll.
I hate it. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Like this right here. This is George Bush. All of George Bush is a toll road.
Yeah,
and eventually there's talk that it will continue to come down and connect somewhere down here. Now whether that'll happen, I don't know. But yeah, toll road. It is what you deal with it, right? There's also at some point there is. When we kind of go out past Rockwall and we do the Roy City Fate area, the outer loop from Collin County will come through. And so what that connection will make is it's supposed to go from like where the D&T ends and give you another concentric circle coming down through the outside. So I think when that project finishes, that will explode property values down through this kind of Rockwall corridor area. Are you right? I think you've got some really great opportunity. Rockwall, if you want it, so there's some multi-million dollar stuff down here. If, some really big custom builders that are doing some stuff, you said Partners in Building would do some stuff on your own land. Have you ever played Heath Golf and Yacht Club? So another option there. Lower taxes, which we talked about as a win, right?
Huge win.
I don't know. Is there anything else we talked about? Some favorite restaurants?
I think we covered a lot of Rockwall, man.
Yeah, no, that's the most helpful thing. So guys, if you have questions, you can always reach out. Jared's information is down in the description. If you're like, hey, I just need a payment, I need to figure out what I'm qualified for. He can lend for a ton of different builders. We didn't talk about any resale because honestly, I don't want to mess with resale. It's not a place to be right now. I don't think, at least. There's tons of opportunity in new construction. There's tons of opportunity in the Rockwall area. So if we can help in any way, please reach out if you have questions. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate your time. We'll see you in our next video.